Chicla the Witness by Sean Green. In 1519, one cloudy and breezy morning, celebratory shouts filled the usually arid air. Dancing, shadowy figures stretched across the nearby adobe homes in the city of Tenochtitlan. Chicla was astonished by the joyful shouts on a Monday morning because she was accustomed to the loud sounds of commands being shouted, rhythmic pounding of tools, and the moaning slave laborers and craftsmen building large homes for the emperor and wealthy citizens. Some travelers say that the buildings are as majestic as the pyramids in Egypt. She quickly exited her small home where she lives with her mom, dad, 6-year-old brother, and 16-year-old sister. Everyone was already busy helping to cook and clean the house, except for her dad. He left to go work on a farm 5 miles away from the city. From her doorway, Chicla could see villagers dancing and laughing in the streets. The children were joyfully playing, and the men had painted faces. She was very curious to find out what the excitement was all about, and the reason the children were not doing their normal chores. "Mom, can I go out for a while?" Chicla shouted as she stood looking out the door. "Yes, be careful. There are a lot of people out today," warned her mom. "Can I go with you? I want to go out to play too," exclaimed Chica's brother. "No, you have to dust off the statues of the god," replied Mom before Chicla could answer. Every Monday was his turn to dust Tlaloc, the god of rain and fertility, Tonatiuh, the sun god, Quetzalcoatl, the patron of knowledge and learning, and Huitzilopochtli, the god of war. Huitzilopochtli is always put first in the line in the small hole made for their religious shrine. Chicla scurried out the door before her mother could change her mind, and she began walking through the crowded streets, searching the faces for her friends. She recognized Olecteria's long ponytail with its bun on the end. Chicla pushed her way through the crowds towards Olecteria, hoping to catch her before she moved further away. "Hey, Olecteria! Olecteria!" she exclaimed, hoping she would hear her shouts over all the other noise. "Turn around!" Chicla managed to get close enough to tap the center of the girl's back. The person turned to glance at Chicla. "Yes, ma'am," replied the person in a questioning tone of voice. I'm so sorry," Chicla said, blushing with great embarrassment. In a stern voice, Hernan Cortez said, "What do you need, little girl?" Chicla was too fascinated to reply, so she just gazed at the man in awe. An escort begged, "Quetzalcoatl, please excuse her. Have mercy on her. She is ignorant and does not understand that you are a god." Hernan Cortez continued to walk regally through the streets as people flocked to get a better glimpse of their god. He mumbled under his breath, "While they're thinking I'm their god, they will never know my plan to conquer them and take over their empire. With my many soldiers, advanced weaponry, domesticated horses and dogs must remain hidden at the edge of the beach until I am ready." Chicla overhears Hernan Cortez's plan. "I knew something wasn't right. How could he?" She gasped in surprise. She knows that her village and the rest of Tenochtitlan is in some type of trouble. Suddenly, Montezuma, dressed in the traditional chief headdresses, appears in the midst of the crowd. Everyone became silent and focused on their leader and their god. "Welcome to our great empire," Montezuma announced. "Do you like what you see, O great and powerful Quetzalcoatl?" "Thank you. I do like your great golden city," Hernan Cortez answered. He knew it was time to set his plan into motion. "Let's meet in the temple. I want to talk to you about your great city, he said to Montezuma. Gladly, Montezuma responded as he held up his right hand as a sign of authority. He turned to the crowd and said, due to this momentous occasion, we will not work any more this week. Instead, everyone must increase their sacrifices. Everyone shouted with glee, but Chicla feared the impostor god had ill intentions for Montezuma in her city. After everyone had returned to their homes, Hernan Cortez went to his soldiers on the ship. He ordered that some of them to march to the temple and surround it. They could not allow anyone to enter. The other soldiers were told to ride the horses and bring the dogs after the attack began. I will give you a sign when it's time to engage in combat, commanded Hernan Cortez to his troops. The next day, Montezuma and Hernan Cortez met in the largest temple. Chicla could not sleep all last night because she knew that Hernan Cortez was not Quetzalcoatl, but she was too afraid to tell her parents. She did not want to make them angry with her story, so she decided to go to the temple before Montezuma and Hernan Cortez. Perhaps I can hide out and warn Montezuma. Maybe he will believe me, she thought. Once she arrived, she saw that she was too late. The two were already there. So, do you truly know who I am? Hernan Cortez asked curiously. Montezuma responded, yes, my lord, you're Quetzalcoatl, the prophesied god who will conquer my empire. Wrong! I am Hernan Cortez, a Spanish conqueror who plans to take your great empire. You'll never get away with that. After I alert my guards, you will be a mere disappointing memory, reassuringly exclaimed Montezuma. Not if I stop you, Hernan Cortez said calmly. Slam! The door where they once entered was abruptly opened and filled with Spanish troops. They slowly approached Montezuma with their swords raised. Cortez stated with a smirk on his face and laughter in his voice, you will now be my prisoner, because you were so gullible and believed I was one of your gods. Chicla heard the entire conversation while hiding behind one of the large golden statues. She watched dazed as Montezuma was led out of the door in shackles. Tears began to coat her eyes. The thought of her family being slaves frightened her. She followed them out of the door and sprinted towards her home. 5 soldiers caught her and held her hostage. No one is to take your eyes off her. She must be kept here until we make our attack, commanded the biggest Spanish soldier. They held her for 3 long months, and she cried every night that she was away from her family. Her family became worried about her. She never stayed away from home before. Chicla was led to the edge of the beach to wash her face. She could smell the salty ocean water and knew this was her chance to escape. So she quickly ran home to warn her parents of Hernan Cortez's plan to rule Tenochtitlan. But Chicla could not catch her breath or finish her sentence. Hernan Cortez's soldiers were at her door. Chicla began panicking and could taste her fear in her mouth as her mom rushed her brother and sister into the small bedroom to hide. Her dad decided to stand guard at the front door. Chicla then remembered that the Aztec army was extremely powerful. Her parents already knew that Montezuma was captured by Hernan Cortez. Then, the remaining Spanish soldiers that were roaming the Bay Area marched into the Aztec streets and began firing upon the homes. The war between the Spanish and Aztecs had begun. Gather closely. I have unfortunate news. Our fearless Emperor Montezuma is gone and will return to us as a hummingbird, Cuitlahuac announced. I will lead our people to victory against Hernan Cortez and his Spanish army, he added in a strong, deep voice. With various hand signs, their new leader, Cuitlahuac, helped guide the Aztec army to victory. The Aztecs were triumphant and drove away the Spanish forces. By 1520, several Aztec villagers and soldiers were covered with red bumps and could barely get out of bed to work or lift their weapons. The air always seemed to smell like vomit and some other things she could not name. Sometimes it was hard for her to breathe because the smell was so stinky. Did Hernan Cortez and his soldiers curse us? Chico wondered. She had never seen anything like this disease before. She noticed that the red bumps appeared to have infected everyone except the Spanish invaders. She watched 5 or 6 innocent civilians die every day. All of the Aztecs, including Chico, believed the Spanish would not return. However, they were wrong. Hernan Cortez returned along with several other Indian tribes to help him fight. These tribes were familiar to Chico. These tribes were the Texicans, Tapanec, and the Chaco. They were unhappy with the Aztec Empire because of how brutal the Aztecs were to them. Ah! Oh! No! The voices screamed in anguish. She listened to the Spanish troops open fire against her people and the Aztec army. Her mom led them in prayer to Huitzilopochtli, the god of war. When all of the loud sounds of battle ended, most of the Aztec soldiers were annihilated. The Aztec spears, bows, and arrows were no match for the Spanish' advanced weaponry. Chico realized that the Aztec army was short of a few people. Smallpox wiped out more than half of the Aztec population, including their emperor, Cuitlahuac. A total of 200,000 people passed away. Chico was unfortunate because she caught smallpox. Sadly for her, there was no known cure. Even though the Aztec failure was inevitable, they still continued fighting until they were ultimately conquered by Hernan Cortez in 1522. He rebuilt what was once the ruins of the Aztec Empire into central Mexico and changed the Aztecs' religious beliefs to Christianity because he was unhappy with their sacrificial ceremonies.